Hello, everyone. Welcome to our ambassador training. Tonight is our week number 5 in a series of 8 weeks that we have started out. And we've had some amazing training, some awesome presenters. And so I hope that you have enjoyed this. And tonight we're looking at week 5. And so we are going to get started here. And just want to tell you guys that I'm really excited about the momentum that our teams are experiencing, and hopefully you enjoyed the promotion that went on this last weekend and you're seeing some real growth from it. And so we're thrilled about that. So we're gonna share our screen and get started here with some great training. So give me just a moment. Okay. All righty, here we go. So this is week 5, and I'm going to change what I'm seeing here just a moment. Okay, this is week 5, and what we're doing is we are entering into series 201 series. So today is the first training in this 201 series. And can everybody hear me okay? Can you see the screen? Are we good to go? Okay. Bear with me just a sec. Okay. So we've come through 4 weeks. We've had some amazing presenters. We've talked about the products. We've talked about social media. We've talked about, the very first lesson was about just the nuts and bolts of Plexus, some terminology that hopefully, if you need some clarification on that, it was helpful. Let's see, last week Stacy talked to us about events and the importance of events and ways that you can host your own events, attending events, and how those can greatly impact your business. And so I think we've had 4 great weeks, and so we're going to enter into the second part of this training. And so this is going to be week 1 in this 201 series. And so let's look at what that's going to look like. Tonight is week number 1. We're going to talk about IPA. We're going to talk about follow-up. We're going to talk about customer care. In week 2, you're going to hear about the power of 3, duplication, integrity, doing the right thing, self-sufficiency, personal and leadership development. Week 3, we're going to practice our elevator speech and get that down to a science. We're going to talk about crafting your own story, the shield of confidence, 3-way calls and how powerful those can be in our business. And then week 4, we're going to cover the compensation plan. So hopefully you see some things listed there that you're going to find helpful either for yourself or for your team. And so let's get started with tonight. We're going to look at the IPA, and if you don't know what that is, that stands for income producing activity. Believe it or not, when I first heard that, I was like, what is that? I had to find out what IPA meant. But that stands for income producing activity. And so IPA is the most important activity or task that you do for your business. And so daily activity is indeed the cure to what ails your business. I heard somebody on a training one time, and I'm trying to remember exactly how she said it, but she said, there is nothing in this business, speaking of network marketing, that a full calendar cannot cure. So if you feel like your business is sluggish, or you feel like you need to be motivated, get that calendar out and get some stuff on the calendar, because really energy feeds energy. So if you can get yourself in some settings with either team members or prospects, and you get some dates on your calendar, whether that's meeting somebody for coffee at Starbucks, or going to lunch with somebody, or having somebody to your house, or whatever that might be, just a conference call like this, a Zoom meeting, somewhere you can hook up with somebody, a full calendar will cure about all of it in this business. And that's really true. Consistent IPA is what makes the difference. That's what'll get your business growing. It'll put you into momentum. So we need to understand what is IPA and how can I implement that into my daily life, into my routine. And we're going to talk about some of that tonight. And I think you're going to hear some things that you're going to say, okay, I can do that. I can make that happen. So IPA, you don't need hours to do IPA. If somebody will set aside 1 to 3 or 4 15-minute increments in their day to focus on IPA, you can be successful within Plexus. And so some people will say, I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. And really the truth is we have time for what we want to have time for. And there are jewels in our company that made it all the way to diamond while working a full-time job. How did they do that? You may look at somebody that's in a leadership position now within Plexus and think, I can't do what they do. Because now this is their full-time job. Now this is what they do. But the journey getting them there, a lot of them, many of them worked full-time careers all the way to jewel status and even diamond status. There are some who still work full-time jobs and they still maintain their Plexus business. So they're not putting necessarily hours every week per se to get where they are, but they do it in the nooks and crannies of their day. And I know you're familiar with that and you've heard people say that. So how can you make that happen? So we're going to talk about that. Examples of IPA, and there's some listed here, but IPA, we're going to talk about a couple of things that IPA is not. That's sometimes we need to know what am I doing that does not fall in the category of IPA. But let's look at some things that are directly reaching out, and by that we mean calling, emailing, texting to your Franks list. And if you don't know what a Franks list is, we can help you with that. We have a link to that. That's going to be a list that's going to help you make a list of names. Excuse me. You want to make a call, email, text to people on that list and introduce them to Plexus. To the products and or the business opportunity. Number 2, you want to follow up with those who've inquired, those who've reached out to you, but you haven't heard back from them, or they just haven't made a decision yet. So that's something else you can do for IPA. What IPA is not is scrolling Facebook. And man, can we all get sucked into that. Can I get a thumbs up? I know it's so easy. And you really mean well. You really think, I'm just going to sit down for 3 or 4 minutes and see what's going on, right? You sit down to take a break. And what happens is you get sucked into that. And I'm guilty. And I really have to watch it. And I have to be intentional not to get sucked into that, scrolling and thinking that's IPA. That's not IPA. That's not going to produce us any income. Scrolling social media. Posting on Facebook about Plexus. Most people think that's IPA, but it's really not. That is not. It's important, and we encourage everybody to do that because that's something you have to do to get something going. But that's not necessarily an IPA activity. Personal communication is what you are after for true IPA. Watching training videos, listening to calls, reading through your success guide, organizing your office, or chatting with Plexus friends about best practices. Although those are things that we do and those are things that we have to do, if we get caught up in that stuff every day, those are not IPA. I was thinking today when I was getting ready to kind of go through this, I was think about the times that somebody would go to school. They would go to college to be an RN. During those times of training, so we think of watching a training video or listening to training or reading the success guide, they go to months and years of school and training, but they're not necessarily, that's not IPA at that moment. It's going to serve to let them have IPA later in that industry, in that business. So sometimes there's training that needs to be done, but don't mistake that for IPA in your daily activity. Yes, you're going to have to set aside time for that, but we want to make sure you're clear on what IPA really is. So let's look at the next thing here. We want to talk about daily method of operation. This is another term that you might hear, your DMO. And some people will say, so what's your DMO look like? What do you do on a daily basis? So this is an example of one thing that you could do on a daily basis is we call it our 5-3-1. And we can reach out to 5 new people about Plexus. We can follow up with 3 people and connect with 1 team member for training, strategy, motivation, just tagging in. And if you can put that DMO into action, and you might say, well, wait a second, I don't have hours. That looks like hours to me to connect with, reach out to 5 people and follow up with 3. You might think that's going to take you a long time, but I guarantee you, if you'll be very purposeful in one of those 15-minute spots, in 15 minutes, you can connect with 1 team member. You can send a message, you can pick up the phone and say, hey, thinking about you. Have you seen this is going on this week? Is there anything I can do for you to help you this week? That's a 15-minute or less contact that you can make. Following up with 3 people, have you some personal messages saved in the notes of your phone, or save them on your computer to where that's a what would we call it? Like a structure that you can go by. You can go copy that, put it into a message, and then personalize it. So you're going to have the body kind of there so that you don't have to retype it every time, but you're going to then take that message and sort of personalize it. Follow up with 3 people. That's easy. You can do that in one of those 15-minute increments. Be purposeful, and you can do it. Those reaching out to 5 new people about Plexus, the same way. Have you a message saved, something that you can go, that's the main part of what I want to say, and I'll add something personal to the top of it. How are they doing? How are the boys' sports? Whatever's going on in their life. So those are things that you can do on a daily basis that won't take you hours. It'll take you really just a short period of time when you're purposeful in your time and not sucked into those things that are not IPA. Another plan that you might want to take a look at is the weekly perfect 10. These strategies that we're presenting, these are things that Jules have put together that have used from the time they started throughout their Plexus journey, that they've found to be successful ways to work their business. And so if you're kind of wondering on a daily basis, what am I supposed to be doing, and how can I make this work, and what is the right steps to take, I would just encourage you to adopt one of these IPA strategies and implement it. And I'm really excited about some information that I came across today that I look forward to sharing also, that's sort of a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday kind of plan, where you can say, okay, on Mondays, this is what I'm going to do. On Tuesdays, this is what I'm going to do. It was another Jewel that was kind of putting that information in front of us today. And I was like, that's really great. After this training tonight, that's going to be something else that we can add. Everybody, we all look for different avenues, but you need to really have yourself a plan to pursue your business. So directly share in this particular plan, the weekly perfect 10 is here's what we would do. Directly share the Plexus products with 3 new people every week. Directly share the Plexus opportunity with 3 new people. So there's 3 and 3. Train, coach, or encourage 3 new team members. So now you've got your 3, 3, 3. And then attend 1 event a week. What kind of an event? Well, you can go to an opportunity event, you can host an event, you can go to a training, you can join our online training on Tuesday nights. And you know what? If you are communicating with your new team members, you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone right here. You could encourage your 3 team members to get on this training on Tuesday nights. Then you've trained your 3 people for that week, and you've also attended an event for the week. So work smarter, not harder. Look for ways to make this work. And if you had 3 team members on this call tonight, don't you know there would be some motivation from that? And don't you know that you would feel some camaraderie and you'd want to work together on what we're learning about? So make it a point to connect with those 3 people, in this plan for sure. The next part we want to talk about is follow-up. And I know that all of you have heard the term, the fortune is in the follow-up, and it's so true. And you've probably seen this graphic. Maybe you haven't. But every time I read it all because I think, wow, that's really crazy. And just to bring it out again, 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. How do they even make it? How do they even make it in sales if they never follow up with a prospect? 25% of salespeople make a second contact and then they stop. They're done. 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and they're finished. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3. But watch this, 2% of sales are made on the first contact. That's not very many. 3% are made on the second, 5% on the third, and that's where most people stop, right? After 3, they're done. And that's only 5% of sales are done in that amount of follow-up. 10% of sales are made on the 4th contact. But my word, look at that. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. And you're tired, if you feel like you're tired, you're wore out, what do I say? What am I going to say this time? I've already talked to them twice, and you give up, most likely you're going to miss it, because statistics are showing us right here that it's consistent follow-up that's going to make this work. Frequency. Okay, so I've had people say to me, okay, I don't mind following up, but what am I going to say to them? I've already talked to them twice, now what? So something you might want to do is use testimonies. And earlier in this training, we talked about making a notebook of testimonies. So reading testimonies, watching videos, that's how our belief is built. And in one of our trainings, we talked about making a log of the testimonies that you read and the videos that you watch, and remind yourself, what did that talk about? So that when you're working with somebody, you can reference that log and say, oh, this will work for Susie. I'm sending this testimony to her, because this is why you need a log for following up with people. You want to connect to them with stories that they're going to connect with. So the frequency of follow-up, it's a personal decision. It can also depend on your relationship with that person. 2 to 4 weeks is an average ballpark of how frequently to follow up with them. Follow up on life and friendships too, you guys. This is seriously about building connections with people. So it's so important. And we've talked about how we don't need to get sucked into Facebook scrolling, right? But if you want to set aside 10 minutes and set the alarm on your phone, or set a time so you don't get sucked into that. But if you have a Frank's list and you have a list of names that you are intentionally pursuing, then it's a good idea to make a point to go look at what's going on in their life. Has there been a tragedy in their life that I could offer condolences for? I could send a card to them. Has there been something wonderful happen that I could congratulate them? Are their kids excelling? Somebody's getting married? Find ways, especially to the people that are on your list, to connect with them. So that when you follow up with them, you have something personal to say. You know what's going on with that person. It shouldn't always be about Plexus. So, I've often said, when you follow up with somebody, don't say, hey, how are you feeling on your Plexus products? That question may not be appropriate this time. And really, the fact is, they may not know yet. And if they feel like you're pressuring them to give them I've lost 10 pounds and I have had more energy than I've ever had in my life, and they don't truly feel that, they may feel like you're expecting them to say that. You know what I'm saying? So be careful about what you say to them. You might want to follow up and say, thinking about you today. If it's in the first week or 2, I've often said, how's your regiment going? Are you remembering to take your products? That's my follow-up. Are you getting in the groove of taking, your products? Do you have any questions? Those are things you can do in the beginning. And then remember testimonies, videos that might relate to them. Say, I just watched this video, thinking of you, wanted to send it to you. Those are things you can follow up with. Keep records and lists of who you reach out to. I even knew somebody that had a log of every time somebody liked her post. Every time she got a like, she wrote it down, because She was intentional, and she was going to connect with that person. They liked something. She wrote it down. She was going to reach out to them. Prospects definitely fall through the cracks. If you aren't keeping a record of them and who's expressed interest to you, undoubtedly you will lose contact of them. So it's so important to follow up, keep you a list of what's going on. Okay, customer care. Relationships, not sales. I've heard the term be a farmer and not a hunter. So planting seeds all the time, watering those seeds, feeding those seeds, you're farming, you're looking for growth and you're looking for things to sprout up, but we're not necessarily hunting, okay? So there's that could be a whole nother training. Seek to listen and understand people's health goals. We have 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. And if we can learn to listen twice as much as we speak, I think we would be miles down the road in our business. We really need to learn to feel the heart and concern of the people that we're working with, and then guide them to the products that may help them reach the goals that they have. Once they order, even before the products arrive, you want to guide them on the best way to take the products. Drinking water, taking measurements. I posted a document today in Diamonds in the Making about how to take each product. Every product is listed with what our initial suggestion and instruction would be on taking those products. We can tweak that as we go, but as a starting point, check out that document. That's something you can send to folks and say, highlight the products that they ordered and say, this is what we suggest in getting started. You're their coach. You are the one that they've trusted to make this order. It's up to you now to be their guide and their coach in what they need to do. Check in with them a few days after they start the products. Again, like I said a while ago, just see if they have questions. And then check in every 3 to 4 weeks to offer support and guidance. Undoubtedly, there's going to be people that have questions that you're going to be able to help them. And it's a great feeling when you have you've equipped yourself where you can answer their questions. And if you feel like, oh, I don't know what to say, then you want to connect with your upline or a sideline who might know. Even myself today, I had a conversation with another diamond, and she was just offering me what she's doing and suggested things that I might try different, even with my product regimen, just looking to mix it up. And so there's reasons to always bounce ideas off of each other. And so you want to be that coach and that go-to person. So in fact, the diamond ambassador I was talking to today, she had a great thought, and I never thought of this. Sometimes we get in a routine with our products and you feel like I'm ready to go to another level. I need to move past where I am. I need to break a plateau. I need to change something up. And so we were talking about that. And she said, you know what? I think I have the best hairdresser in the world. And she said, my hairdresser has often said to me, think about when you change hair products. You use the same product for a while, and then for whatever reason you change hair products. And she said, it's almost like your hair comes alive. I don't know, do any of your girls have ever experienced that? I have, and I have a hard time with change. And so, but there have been times I'm on just a regimen of the same stuff, and maybe the next time I go to buy it, it's gone. So I'm forced to make a different decision and to use something different. And then when I do, I'm like, why didn't I do that before now? Things are just better. It just works better. And she said, sometimes that's what we have to do with our product regimen. The products are still great. We just might need to mix it up and, change it up for our body or whatever. So anyway, that's kind of off subject, but those are things you want to remember when you're coaching your customers. Happy customers often turn into great ambassadors. So remember, be there for them. Provide excellent service. And I've been asked, what's a secret to being successful? I don't think there's any secret, but I do feel like customer service has been huge, and being that voice that's there when they need an answer and providing the information. If you tell them you're going to give them something, you're going to provide something to them, be sure that you do that. Get back with them when they need you. Preferred customers. Encourage your friends and family to order preferred. Stacy and I have talked before, it's rare that if you have a conversation with a prospect that they order retail. Who wants to pay the highest price for your products? If I have a minute to talk to my prospects, most likely they're going to order preferred. A preferred customer sets up a monthly auto order and they get a discount off of the retail price. They get a discount, and you, as the ambassador, you get a great bonus. So you need to know all the details about preferred customers. If you don't, make sure you find out. A preferred order can be canceled online by the customer and or by calling customer service. It's easy to do. It can be canceled anytime, 15 days after that original order date. So by being an awesome ambassador, you can help your preferred customers. You can offer to help remind them when that order is going to process, to take that stress off of their mind. Make yourself a note. I'm going to contact you and remind you. Make sure you're satisfied with the product. Offering this extra level of service keeps you accountable to stay in touch with your customers on a monthly basis, at least. If you know, okay, on the 5th, Susie's order is going to go out, so that means on the 1st I'm going to tag it. And then that kind of works into a great system too, because it keeps you accountable to checking in with them every month. If you provide this level of service to your customers, keep a calendar of your customers. And while we're talking about that, I'm going to share something else with you guys. Hang on a second. This is, we're talking about keeping a log of when you talk to your customers and the importance of that. And let me see if I can, well, I want to show you something else. How about we do that at the end? I'm going to go back to something else I want to show you about this and how you can keep track of that. In the 4th consecutive month of a preferred customer order, they will receive an additional 10% off of their monthly order and future consecutive orders. You want to know that. That's a great offer for your preferred customers. So let's talk about our retail customers and the 60-day money-back guarantee. Most of your friends and family will order preferred if you explain it to them. But you will have those that just don't do auto ships, really. I mean, there are people that are just anti, they don't want that happening. So that's okay. Don't forget about your retail customers. Keep them on your calendar as well. Check in with them. Remind them, you ordered about 25 days ago. You're probably getting close to being out. And I know you're going to want to order again. Just stay in front of them. Something that's really awesome that if you don't incorporate into your business, you want to. All customers get a 60-day money-back guarantee, whether they're retail or preferred. So when a customer orders through your website and they want to return the products for a refund within 60 days, they or you as the ambassador can call customer service, and you're going to get an RMA number. That's the return number that they're going to need. They'll return the unused products or empty packaging to Plexus. So that's something to think about when you're dealing with a newbie. Encourage them to hold on to their package. Don't, throw the slim bag away or whatever, because they're going to need that to do a return should that be the case. So they'll get an email from customer service of what to do. They're going to put that RMA on their package and send it back. And once the package is received, depending on their banking institute, the refund process will start, and that's how that will work. So we're about to the end of this. Let's talk about really quick converting customers to ambassadors. When you have a customer who's loving the products, make sure you explain to them the ambassadorship and how it works. It's really stinks when you have a customer and all of a sudden you see on Facebook that they've made this awesome decision and now they're selling Plexus, and you go, what? They were buying products from me. What happened? Well, a few things are coming into play there. Maybe there hasn't been the communication that should be there. And maybe you have communicated with them, but you have not told them about being an ambassador, and they were out to lunch with 3 or 4 friends and somebody got to talking about it, and voila, they had this brilliant revelation that they could pay $35 and get their products for cheaper. And the next thing you know, because they don't understand our business, they've joined with somebody else. And it really, really, really stinks. And so make sure that you explain that option to your customers so that they know that if that's something they're interested in. No inventory, the low startup cost, all of these things you see on the screen. No parties are required. It's an internet business. 3 to 5 customers could yield you enough pay to cover your products. So you want to make sure that you communicate that to your customers just in case they have an interest. And then when a customer is ready to become an ambassador, they're going to go to your website and click Join Plexus. Then there's an option to upgrade to an ambassador, and that's if they're a preferred customer, have them upgrade. The system will recognize their information, and you'll follow the steps there, and it's fairly easy to make that happen. Anytime possible that you can be on the phone or across the table and walk someone through the joining process, I encourage you to do that. That's the best way to do it. You can answer any questions, anything that comes up about their backup order. You can just guide them through and remove all doubt from them at that point. Once they join your team, you want to make sure to get them plugged into education, training, Facebook groups. There's a great document for getting ambassadors started. I've even posted that in Diamonds in the Making recently. Take a look at that. There's some great steps that you can encourage them to do to get off to the right start. Guide them through their success guide. I think that you're going to find that to be really helpful in getting people to move from being a great customer to an ambassador. So I'm going to stop the share, but I'm going to share with you guys one other document where we're talking about, hang on a second. I know you can see my screen, and I closed out what I wanted to show you, so give me just a second. If you have not become a member of Plexus Power Tools, I'm going to encourage you to do that because so many amazing tools are there, and I had this pulled up and I closed it accidentally. So, okay, I wanted to show you for keeping up with your customers like we just discussed in the PowerPoint. I love, love, love this. If you don't have this, look at this contact sheet, and I love, let's see, are you guys seeing this? Are we still good? Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so I love that you can say what their level of interest is. If they're a customer, a preferred customer, an ambassador, if they're just interested. I just love this sheet for making notes. You can, check here what they ordered and when they ordered it. And down here is a great place for writing your follow-up notes and the date and when you talk to them, what's going on. Aunt Susie just got married, or whatever, so that when you return.
Stephanie.
Yes.
Stephanie, do you think we're seeing what you're seeing?
Yeah. Are you not?
We're not. So we just see you, and it's okay, and we hear what you're explaining, but we can't see the document you're trying to show us. And
okay, let me get back up here. Hang on a second.
Okay. I'm going to mute myself again.
No, don't do it yet, because I got to get back here. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I don't even know what, there you guys are. Okay. Hang on a second, because I'm going to show you this document's awesome. Share screen. Share screen. Now, move this out of the way. Okay. Here we go. Can you see it now, sir?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Just scroll it down because we don't see it all.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this is on Plexus Power Tools, and it's awesome. So I was already just jabbering about, but I love this here, that you can select what the person is. What is the prospect? Are they just interested and you want to keep tabs of what your communication has been with them? Then get you, I love technology, I guess. I'm a little bit, I'm a little bit slow at some stuff, so I have a little bit of trouble. Like, I know some people who want to keep all of this in an Excel spreadsheet, but I have a 3-ring binder, and I like to have a sheet on people that I'm working with. So if I have this and I just know, okay, here's their name and they're interested. Okay, so I know down here I can just start saying when I've talked to them, what did we talk about? How often am I following up with them? And I can have it in my 3-ring binder. I have numbers in my binder, 1 through 30. And I can have behind each day of the month, okay, so this person I talked to a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and this is what our communication was. I sent them this testimony and said this in the conversation. You know, I can just make a note to myself to remind me. So I really, really like this sheet. We're friends on Facebook. They follow me on Instagram, or I follow them, or I'm a Twitter pal with them, or whatever. I've given them a business card. I directed them to my website. All of this is really cool information. So if you have not used this tool, I think you might want to check it out. I just wanted to show you guys that, and I will unshare. Sorry about the confusion. I missed that. So anyway, that is the training for tonight. I hope that you have found something valuable from it to help you think about how to operate your day. It's really important to get a plan for just daily activities of what you can do, and not take hours upon hours. You can do some of these things really quick like. So I appreciate you guys getting on, and I'm going to stop the recording. And then if you guys have questions, I will be open to that. We'll see you guys next Tuesday night for week number 6.